Pop culture, the arena which has always been ripe with various fads and phenomena of all kinds. Some of the recent outstanding trends are of course the Gangnam Style and the Harlem Shake. By focusing on these two recent trends, we have set out to explore the processes through which people associate or appropriate meanings onto these popular trends. In 2012, the world bought into a new dance, a new voice, and a new style. Sung by a famous South Korean singer Park Jae-sang or Psy, Gangnam Style has redefined the word viral. His music video went viral from the 21st of December 2012 onwards on YouTube and became the first ever YouTube video to reach 1 billion views. The song Gangnam Style was created with the intention of parodying, imitating, and bringing up a subtle satire content alongside showcasing the Gangnam affluent group's lifestyle. There are more than 1 million versions of Gangnam Style parodies, or otherwise known as the horse dance. They are produced every day, everywhere, and showcased on various social networking sites. Politicians, beauty queens, and other various groups of people from all over the world have participated in this trend through producing parodies and reenacting Gangnam Style. The Harlem Shake, on the other hand, was first uploaded on February 2, 2013 onto Disaster Music's YouTube account. It went viral a few days later, garnering millions of views. The Harlem Shake song, created by artist Harrison Bauer Rodriguez, was placed first for weeks on World's Billboard chart, scoring the title of the most downloaded song. The term Harlem Shake actually refers to a dance move which consists of some rhythmic arm and shoulder movement that was started by a group of people in the streets of Harlem, New York in the 1980s. The viral Harlem Shake meme totally deviated from the original dance moves, which actually caused some displeasure among the Harlem people. In order to explore the processes of the association of meanings to these trends, specifically by the youths in Singapore, we conducted some interviews and also analyzed the reproduction through various parodies done. Based on our research and primary data, we came up with a list of themes which revolves around our argument that consumers of cultural products are not passive. Rather, they are active producers who are able to create their own meanings and associate them onto these trends. The themes we came up with in the process of analysis are globalization and new media, the imagined community, and lastly, decontextualization and recontextualization. For the first theme on globalization and new media, we will start by considering these questions. What is globalization? What is the role of new media in a global city like Singapore? How do consumers of cultural products become active producers in making meaning out of their consumption? In order to put these questions in the context of our research, we have explored how Singaporean youths in particular actively make meanings out of Gangnam Style and Harlem Shake through new media. Now back to the first question. What is globalization? Globalization refers to the process and context of the world becoming integrated, where the major frame of reference is international communication. This in turn fosters the idea of a global village through compression of time and distance. Globalization has enabled the development of new forms of transportation and telecommunications that compress time and distance, which allows for increasingly rapid rates of global interchange. Borrowing from Apodurai's definition, globalization is about fragmentary processes and disjunctive landscapes. This means that media and migration, which is central to globalization, do not flow in unilinear ways between clearly defined nation-states. To put it simply, globalization allows the flow of cultural products through different mediums which are not restricted within the boundaries of the nation states. Cultural products do not operate in a particular national boundary, especially so with the advent of new media, which significantly facilitates the global spread of these products by enabling people to access and interpret them. This now brings us to our next question of, what is the role of new media? And to put it in context, what is the role of new media in a global city like Singapore? An increasing proportion of our communication, even at the interpersonal level, is mediated in the sense that it is delivered through or with the assistance of new media technologies, which range from increasingly sophisticated mobile phones to blogs and networking websites like Facebook. Thus, one of the most crucial roles of new media is that it acts as an important medium of communication. Due to the interconnectedness of people through media and migration that is brought about by globalization, new media is a crucial avenue for the spreading of messages or information across the world. The ubiquitous internet facilitates many of these new communication forms and is making them ever more mainstream. As people increasingly use such avenues to communicate, cultural products get easily transmitted. This is evident from our primary data, as all of our respondents mentioned that they got to know about Gangnam Style and Harlem Shake through avenues like Facebook, Twitter, and other social networking sites. When asked how they got to know about these trends, these were the answers.
Through the internet.
Facebook, and from YouTube, because like the recommended stuff will have that name.
For both, actually, I knew of them through Facebook. Like, people were sharing the videos on Facebook.
Shake, I got to know it from Twitter. Someone mentioned about it.
As we can see from the interviews, new media has not only become an important medium of communication, but increasingly a crucial avenue for the transmission of cultural products. It is also the platform for the spread of the latest trends in the form of videos, images, and ideas. Globalization has enabled the flow of music styles, genres, and technology. This can be seen based on how music from Korea, like Gangnam Style, has spread and become popular in Singapore, especially among youths. The reproduction of these trends through parodies illustrate how people make their own meanings out of what they consume. This leads to our next theme about the imagined community. According to Benedict Anderson, a nation is a socially constructed community imagined by the people who perceive themselves as part of that group. Anderson has noted in his book that media is crucial in creating an imagined community. This is indeed evident when parodies are used as the means of reifying one's ethnic identity when overseas. As globalization has enabled the mobility of people, parodies on music which originates from one's own country may help in the reification of one's ethnic identity. One of the respondents has shared how she could relate when she watched the video of Koreans doing parody of Gangnam Style in Chicago. This was done as a means of feeling connected to their country of origin. This evidence is in line with how globalization and new media create a sense of home through cultural products like Gangnam Style, which they watch or even reproduce in their own way. Now, on to our next point. Reiterating the point made earlier, the spread of music like Gangnam Style and popular memes like Harlem Shake via new media has reached many people and became the mean for consumers to become active producers in making meaning out of their consumption. This is evident by how the youths in Singapore decided to make parodies of these viral videos by appropriating them into the context of Singapore. This idea is related to the last theme that we are going to explore, which is the decontextualization and recontextualization of cultural products. Decontextualization can be understood as taking these viral videos out of their original context. Recontextualization refers to the reappropriation of a text or product, in this context the viral videos, by identifying it and adapting it onto another context. In other words, reappropriating it with their own meanings. Global cultural products like Gangnam Style and Harlem Shake are consumed by the youths in Singapore, but with a spin of their own. These products are decontextualized and reappropriated onto a more local context. This can also be understood as localizing global culture. In turn, this can be linked to the concept of glocalizing, which means global going local, or also known as glocal. Glocalization can be evident from the parodies of Gangnam Style and Harlem Shake that are localized and reappropriated into Singapore's context. For example, Oppa Revision Style and Super Kancheong Style.
Super Kancheong Style. Super Kancheong Style. Wake up every morning, I am feeling oh so
These two
sleepy.
parodies were reappropriated to the local context, highlighting the importance of education in Singapore and Singapore's parents' paranoia about their children who will be sitting for major examinations. Other examples of glocalization can be seen in the incorporation of Gangnam Style into weddings and the use of Harlem Shake to highlight Singapore's icons and also its multicultural identity. Decontextualization and recontextualization are related and tied to Appadurai's idea of indigenization. Thus, the focus should not be only on the heterogeneity or homogeneity, but also on the dynamics of indigenization. Appadurai mentioned that another aspect that we can look at to understand globalization, aside from looking at how globalization homogenizes or brings about heterogeneity, is to also look at the dynamics of indigenization of global cultures. Thus, the concept of indigenization and glocalization supports our argument that consumers actively make meaning out of the cultural products, which is by reappropriating it onto a local context and attaching their own meanings onto them, as can be seen in the Gangnam Style and Harlem Shake parodies. As discussed earlier, our analysis supports our argument and shows that consumers are actively producing meanings and appropriating their own interpretations onto cultural products. Access to global cultural products are made easier by globalization and new media. The reproduction of these cultural products may be used to reify ethnic identity and a sense of belonging to an imagined community. We also explored how a variety of meanings and interpretations are associated to global cultural products through decontextualization and recontextualization.
Okay, you want to play your Gangnam Style?
Oppan Gangnam Style.
Happy now?
Gangnam Style.